everybody who has a SeekOut account is going to have this people analytics function available. We don't charge any extra for it. And what we do is we provide you with a real-time graphical overview of your current search. And we give you tools to navigate and interact with that search and to really understand what's happening in that particular pool of people. And that's a really powerful tool that lets you do some interesting things in terms of how you search, how you think about roles, how you talk to other people about roles, how you plan. I'm going to start us off by doing a really simple insight search. So if we click on insights here on the left-hand navigation menu, we have a number of predefined searches to get you started. So we're showing you examples of how you would use this across 4 key categories. What if I want to find out about a company? What if I want to find out about a role? What if I want to find out about a location? And what if I want to find out about something using a custom search? So I'm going to start with a company, and we like picking on Airbnb for some reason. They're one of our default companies, so we're going to continue picking on them. So what I've done is I've done a search for everybody that works at Airbnb. That's what clicking on that link did. It pre-filled it in for me. And then I've switched over to People Insights. And here we're looking at that interactive graphical overview that I've spoken about. And this is where we're showing you those insightful details about Airbnb. And we're looking at Airbnb employees in North America, just to clarify. We've got a couple dozen different categories. We've pulled out all of the detail for you, and then we show you the top information. And for each one of these, by default, it's the top 10, but we have a show more button, and we get into the rest of the data as well, although I'll stick to what we're showing by default. So here in location, we're looking at Airbnb, we start seeing some really interesting insights. Immediately we can see that the vast majority of their employees are either in San Francisco itself or the greater Bay Area. You're looking at 60% in this case. And as I mouse over them, you'll see I'm actually popping up something to show how many candidates are matching that particular filter. As we scroll down, we see some of the sub-companies that people could potentially be working for as part of Airbnb. We see their titles. So 10% of all of Airbnb is software engineering. 1.3%, 89 people at Airbnb are data scientists. Here is something that is really interesting. We're showing you the real-time diversity breakdown of Airbnb employees in the US. And I'm going to go a little tangent here because this is something very special that we do. So you might ask, how do we know that 3,000 of Airbnb's employees are actually women? So we have an AI-powered diversity engine that looks at all the profiles in our system and looks at dozens of different categories of that profile. We look at names, we look at locations, we look at origin, we look at sororities and fraternities, we look at schools, we look at professional associations, and a bunch of other things that we like to keep a little bit secret. And we put all of that together and we create a score for each of those categories that lets us know what diversity category we're leaning towards. And when we wrap it all up, we're actually able to say with a very, very high level of confidence whether or not somebody meets a certain diversity criteria. And this is super interesting because one, it lets you find diverse candidates, right? Like think about a search on LinkedIn Recruiter if you're trying to specifically find women or veterans or somebody who's Black or African American. Very, very hard thing to do. Like you can do keyword searches and you can search for names, and some people will even like look at photos doing something like an X-ray search via Google Images, but that's so bias. I mean, that's consciously biased when you're doing something like that, let alone unconsciously biased. But by using something like our AI engine, we can really surface a huge number of results, and we can do it in a way that removes the human biases from the process. And really proud of the work that we've done here, and we've invested quite a lot. And again, this is all interactive. So we're seeing the number of people that are matching these individual categories. We're seeing where people came from. So 16% of people, their previous role was also within Airbnb. They had internal promotions, but they're getting people from Google and Facebook and Microsoft and Amazon and Apple. So we can see where they're hiring from, what the past titles were. We see the top skills, how much experience they have, and this is actually pretty interesting as well. These graphs look really different when you look at different companies. Airbnb, most of their people have more than 10 years of experience. Is actually a little bit unusual for a company of their size. How long they've been in their current role, the school that they went to, the degree that they have, and on and on. There are many of these. Now, we could do a couple things with this. If we were speaking internally about Airbnb as our competitor, and maybe we want to know a little bit about them and we want to share that with other people in our organization, we give you a really easy way to export this data. This comes out as a really beautifully formatted Excel spreadsheet. I've just popped that one open. We give you the high-level stats, we link back to that search, but all of those charts and graphs are right here in the sheet, separated into different tabs, and it's really easy to share this or to cut and paste it into a PowerPoint presentation and be sharing some talent insights with somebody else on the team. But as I mentioned, it's all interactive.